Hey, it's Luke for 102.1 The Edge. I'm here with AlphaCub, and this is your first taste at CMW. So you're at Toronto, Halifax. Well, you're out of Halifax, and now you're in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
So you were relocated how long ago?
It'll be 2 years in August.
Right on.
That's when I came.
And you used to be in a band when you were in Halifax.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, what was your band called?
It was called Soho Ghetto. I did 3 albums with Soho Ghetto.
That's a solid name. Like, it's got a nice ring to it.
I don't want to tell the story of how I came up with it, but I wasn't in my right mind.
Right on.
Yeah.
So between, I guess obviously after the band broke up, you went solo. You've written, you've put out your own self-titled EP.
Yep.
What's the biggest difference you find between, recording with a band and working with a band on an album?
Oh man, you don't have to deal with a bunch of whiny ego. Like, you're number one. There's a difference between like being able to go into a studio with a producer and sit down and write songs versus meeting once or twice a week and working on a song. So you could go into a studio and work with a producer and have a song by the end of the session. Right. Or you can work 3 or 4 different Sundays or whatever your practice day is, and then finally have a song a month later. Yeah. But at the same time, you're dealing with other people's opinions. I just wanted more control. So
your self-titled EP came out just a little over, roughly a year ago, right?
Just over a year ago.
About when can we expect to hear some new tunes from AlphaCub?
I'm in the studio right now.
Right on.
So we've got another single coming out in May from that album. It's called Friends. And then probably end of the summer, early fall, we'll probably release the first single from the next album.
Right. Yeah. So you're an indie pop alt artist, right?
Sure.
So you've got, for me to describe your sound, it's kind of like I would describe it as if a Jack Garrett style of music. Yeah. Throwing in George Michael on vocals.
A little bit of George Michael, a little bit of I sing really loud, like but like I try to write. I love pop music. I try to write pop music and I try to stay relevant. And I try to write with depth too, like a singer-songwriter. Basically the singer-songwriter infused pop music. So I'll write a song on my acoustic guitar, and I'll go into the studio, and we'll build around that, and then pull the acoustic guitar out of the song, basically. And then what we're left with is hopefully like a pop song that people like. You're always looking for that hook. You're always looking for hit potential. You're always trying to stay relevant. You're always trying to stay like a
little bit ahead of the game.
Exactly. You got to really try and see what's going to be cool in 6 months, or a year. And you got to work hard at that. And the only way to do that actually is to just listen to everyone else. So a big part of it is using the music that inspires you to create what you're going to do. Music is disposable. You know what I mean? Like everyone's talking about one song for one summer, and then they're on to the next thing.
Almost like 3 months later, too. Like, it doesn't really last long.
It doesn't last long at all. And if you can't keep up, then you're done.
Well, as a Toronto local now, you've been living here a couple years. Yeah. Where's, as far as like a go-to hangout spot, what would you say you like to spend the most of your time when you're not in studio or doing music stuff,
I could go on forever. I'm always discovering a new bar. I really like, there's this little bar on Dundas and like Oz. I love the Dakota. Yeah. And right in that corner, I go to Get Well too, because they have all the vintage video games for free. Yeah. And they have North of Brooklyn Pizza. I love that place. And there's a little place around the corner. It's a little hole in the wall. It might have a capacity of 30 people. It's called the Red Star. Oh yeah. I love hanging out there. The bartenders are so grumpy. It's wicked.
That's
I love
amazing.
it. Yeah, it's great. And they sell like $4 Pabsts.
AlphaCub, you don't have any shows going on for CMW, unfortunately, but when can we expect to hear possibly some new music see you guys live?
I'm just in the middle of an album right now, like every day, like all the time, just like working on this album. So that's kind of the space that I'm in. And I think probably end of May we'll have a show. June, we're going to have a show as well. Nothing's like quite in place yet, but yeah, we're gonna have a show soon. In the next month, couple of months throughout the summer, there's gonna be some shows as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, AlphaCub, thanks for sitting with me today.
Absolutely, my pleasure, man.
I'm Luke. This is your first taste at CMW.